What's up guys? Brennan back again today with another review on the channel, and today we are back to review the full series of Moon Knight. So yes, now I did a review for the first episode back when it came out, so if you want to go check that one out, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. I said back in that review I wasn't going to do a weekly review for the show because that's very time consuming, and I had a lot of other stuff to do, like video-wise edits, so I couldn't be doing those at the same time. But I decided to do a format I saw some other people on YouTube, like Angry Joe does, where they would view like one episode of a show, and they didn't really feel like reviewing the full series. They'll just like weekly review. They'll just like come back later on when it's done and review the full thing once it's complete. That's what I did, so I reviewed the first episode, so I just wanted to get my thoughts out, and now I'm back to review the full series. So yeah, so wrapped up today. You're seeing this tomorrow after it came out, so yeah, wrapped up on May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you. Well, it's now May the 5th, so whatever. You're saying May the 5th, it's May the 4th for me. Whatever, you get the point. So yeah, I'm going to try and speak in very general about the show, because of course I'm not going to go through everything that happened in the past few episodes. But yeah, this was a 6-episode series. Hopefully Season 2, we'll get into that. But yeah, spoilers all the way for this review also, so be warned. So yeah. Right off the bat, honestly, I'll say this is probably my favorite of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. Like, I mean, it's kind of bounced back and forth. Like, Falcon Winter Soldier was my favorite at one point, and Hawkeye was. Probably this one, though, might be the favorite for a while, honestly, because, like it just, I dug a lot of the ways they tackled stuff. Like, it was a bit more of a darker, like, more serious show. I mean, it wasn't, like, compared to, like the Netflix stuff, like Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, all that stuff. Like, it wasn't like dark like those shows get. Like, those shows got dark and gritty. This show still did get pretty dark and mature, even though it was on Disney Plus, so that's great. So there was a bit more blood and a lot of stuff. There were some very creepy scenes and stuff, and some serious subject matter also, which we will definitely get into. So yes. But yeah, besides just the dark stuff it did, like, just I thought a lot of the writing was good, and kind of the story was just all great. Like, one thing that just helped carry the show the most was Oscar Isaac as our main character, as Mark Spector / Stephen Grant. You know, of course, Isaac himself is a great actor, so like he really just like nailed and just like kind of slipped into like playing this dual personality character seamlessly. Like, excuse me, there were scenes like where he had to be like Mark and I would switch to Stephen, or it had to be Stephen switch to Mark, and like, it was almost seamless how he would do. Like in the scene in the desert in episode 3, I think it was. Yeah, it was after they were trying to find the location via constellation stars and stuff where Amit's tomb was. You know, he kind of had like this Mark gave over control to Stephen to kind of help figure out the map, and like he did it so seamlessly. Like, it was pretty great. So I really dug that. And even like, of course, in the final episode when he did a lot more there, you know, it was just, he did so effortlessly. It was like just fantastic to see. So that was all great. And but also you have Ethan Hawke, who's the main villain, Arthur Harrow. He did a great job as well. Like, I don't know, I'm not sure where I would rank him as a Marvel villain. Definitely one of the better ones for sure, because he had just such a chill, calm vibe, and I like the way like Hawke played him. So I'm not sure where I would rank him, like compare him to all the other villains. I'm not sure if he's one of the greats, but I definitely liked him. I thought he was good. I liked the way his character, especially like near the end with that, you know, in the final episode, his whole thing was, of course, he would use the power of Amit he had, sort of, kind of, whatever, with his staff, and judge people prematurely of crimes they may or may not do in the future. And like, it was cool. Well, that part's not cool because that sucks. But like, especially near the end when like they freed Amit, and Amit started to judge him a little bit, and like saying, you know, bad stuff I feel like you did do, or he definitely did, but like, or stuff he might do again still. And like, you know, you kind of think like in that kind of scenario, the character's gonna be like, no, please don't kill me. I did this all for you. But like, he was actually pretty chill. It was like, if your will needs me to die for your like the way you do things to happen, then do it. Go ahead. Which I thought was interesting. Again, you don't normally see that with villains. Usually like, no, don't do that. What do you mean? I did this all for you. I thought we were gonna work together and everything. But like, I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, at first, like, if you have to, go ahead. I accept whatever consequences I have to receive. So I thought that was interesting, definitely. So there was that. I said also in the first episode review, it was kind of weird though how they chose to use, because Arthur Harrow was a very nothing villain from the comics. Like, apparently he was only ever in one issue back in the 80s, and that was it. He's never been in a comic again, apparently, so it was very weird, I thought, like, to get such a big name actor like Ethan Hawke, which apparently was Oscar Isaac. He wanted to get Ethan Hawke, and just have him play such a nothing villain. But like, I guess like I've seen other people say, with such a just D-list villain, like, you can kind of just do whatever you want with him, so like, I guess it worked. So, again, he did a good job, like, a lot of stuff, like, I mean, his idea to put glass in his shoes, which was weird. I mean, like, I said it again also in my last review, but, like, I think my brother had this idea that maybe it's helped train him to walk lighter on his feet, which I think works, like, cause he does sneak up on Mark, or not Mark, Steven in the museum, so, yeah, maybe that's what that was. But there's also the character of Layla, who's Mark's wife. You know, she's great, and she was in the show, was played by, what was the actress's name? May Calamai? Or is it Maya? No, I think it's May. May Calamai. May. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And she plays Layla Layla El Fowley, who is the daughter of an archaeologist that Mark had, you know, I'm not sure if it was Mark or Kill, but like, no, it wasn't Mark or Kill. Of course, we go into his backstory and learn about stuff where he was of course, former mercenary and worked with Bushman, his like old partner and everything, and he was trying to stop Bushman from killing off her father and all the archaeologist buddies of his, but then of course it didn't work and stuff sucks. You know what I mean? It's in the show, and of course she's the daughter of her father. And you know, Layla, of course, she was a pretty. I really dug her character. She was very strong and confident. So like, she never had like the damsel in distress kind of thing, which I thought was all great. You know, especially that one scene when she was doing like that, hunting down that mummy. We're not hunting, like trying to hide from that mummy thing in the caverns. Like, it was a very creepy scene, definitely. Like, very kind of dark and twisted. And like, she was very great in that scene. Probably also the damsel in distress thing. I'm not sure why I was saying that. Whatever. But like, you know what I mean? She was a very strong, confident, like, female character. I thought she did really well. The actress played her greatly, you know. And then, of course, like, she was great. Honestly, I felt like she did a great job. Definitely would like to see her a little bit more. So yeah. And of course, she becomes a character, her own hero at the end as well. The action-wise, also in the show, I thought is also very great. Of course, there's some great like one-shots of stuff. There's some great like use of like cinematography, like and reflections, and everything. But the action overall, I'm jumping around now. But the action's all very great. Of course, it's a bit not very gritty. I mean, of course, they skip past or like black out between the really violent stuff. But like, and so yeah, and it makes you wonder, what am I going on about? I don't know. And like, it's all great. And like, it's all great. There's especially that one scene at the end in the last episode where like, you know, like there was that one great one shot where it's like Steven as Mr. Knight taking out all the guys and everything. That was pretty great. You know, there's a lot of great action in general. I thought a lot of fun stuff. Like, again, like I said, the mummy scene was kind of a cool like chase sort of fight scene. Stuff in episode 2 was pretty good. I mean, there wasn't a lot of action in general in the show when you really look at it. There was not. It's pretty light on some of the action, but there's the ones we did get. I thought was pretty good. They were done very well. And like I was saying, like cinematography and reflection wise, like the camera work was great, just showing all like the kind of panning around and everything, and also the use of reflections in the show was also pretty great. Like from either having to have either Mark or Steven in like a mirror reflective service to talk to the other one on the outside around the body, or also like just using to kind of do some cool parallel shots like that. Shot in the one episode where they have that puddle scene of like where it's like panning from the puddle and you think it's like the actual proper ground, but it's actually just a puddle reflection. So I thought that was cool. Like all that kind of stuff was handled greatly, you know. And of course, there's a lot of other twisty turby stuff they do. Like, of course, there's a whole thing with the hospital in the show, which I thought was also quite good. I mean, a bit confusing in some parts. I mean, we haven't gotten a straight answer for some parts of it, but of course, you know, when he dies, he goes to this afterlife thing for the kind of religion stuff he believes in, which involves what's the hippo's name now. I have to keep looking up this stuff. My apologies. Tauret, if that's how you pronounce it, who's like the hippo. She's like the god of the afterlife in the Egyptian mythology and everything. So that's interesting. And yeah, that was cool. And that whole that was a great reveal. I mean, of course, like I think definitely going into that when they revealed that, I was kind of shocked, and I was shocked. I was definitely trying to figure out, because they do a great reveal of how you lead into that whole thing with, you know, you're in kind of this now mental hospital, because like at first, you know, Mark gets shot and then goes to black, but then it transitions into this the old 80s movie, it's the Stephen Grant film, and it's very WandaVision trippy almost, and then it goes into the actual, you know, proper format, widescreen and everything. But I thought that was all cool. I knew definitely it was fake, that whole thing, because, you know, we had episodes 1 and 3 open up with other characters that are not Mark and don't have Mark's perspective. Like we have episode 1 starting with Arthur, and we have episode 3 starting with Layla. So it definitely wasn't like, I definitely knew it was fake because, you know, we had these perspectives from other characters, so it was definitely fake. But so it was the whole thing, just seeing how it was going to play out, and also the detail it went to, showing all these like different background and side characters were all in a hospital, and all the little details that if you go back and watch prior episodes, you'll notice, oh wait, that was in the hospital too. So like that was all cool. And but the thing with Arthur Harrow is, or Dr. Harrow in that world, you know, that whole thing we weren't giving a proper conclusion to what exactly that was with him. Like, I don't know. I've seen some people, like, I've seen, like, one review I watched where it's like, it was Mr. Sunday Movies review where he was kind of saying how, like, that was, like, a projection of Mark's mind that was supposed to kind of, like, you know, knock him down, bring down his, like feelings and emotions a little bit, but then, like, after he defeated Harrow in the real world, he can kind of break through, doesn't need that illusion kind of thing. I don't quite know. When I was watching it, I kind of thought, like, is this, like, a penalty or penance kind of thing? Like, is this, like, is this, like his mindset he's trapped in, and like Steven and Mark can enter it, but he can't leave, which was not the case clearly. But like, I don't know. Again, we'll have to get. I'm sure some of the producers and writers of the show will explain what that was. Hopefully, they probably will at some point. But yeah, that whole, and this is one I also want to talk about with the show, which I have to commend Marvel on, because episode 5, which of course primarily takes place in that kind of like hospital mental world thing, you know, for Marvel, this is like where I thought the show was very, like, why I like it a lot more than a lot of the other Marvel shows so far, is that, you know, for episode 5, like, it was very, again, because that dealt with, like, sensitive, like subject matter material, which, of course, was, you know, there was some dark stuff about, of course, Mark, like, inadvertently, accidentally caused his brother to drown and die, and he feels really guilty about that, and his mom became an alcoholic and, like, started beating on him, which, like, all very serious subject matter, and, of course, like, Marvel handled it, like, very mature. They were like, okay, no, this is all serious. We have to treat it seriously and treat it rightly. We can't just be like, you know, cracking a joke and everything. Like, we can't just have the hippo coming out of nowhere, being like, all right, guys, back to the ship and start rowing our way out of here. Like, we can't do that kind of stuff. Like, episode 5 was mostly jokeless. Like, at the start of the episode, there were some jokes, and, like, maybe, like, one joke near the end. But, like, that was mostly it. It was very joke, like, less. There was, like, almost no jokes. Like, it hasn't very much commend on, because there are times definitely in Marvel, even I will agree, as a fan of the Marvel, like all this Marvel stuff for the most part, like there's definitely times like where there's humor that is put in for not great reasons. Like in Shang-Chi, I felt it the most there. There's a scene in that movie where like Shang-Chi's explaining his whole backstory to, what was his friend's name now? Katie. And like it's a whole like serious thing he's talking to her about, and then like the plane stewardess like comes in by and says, oh, would you like nuts or water, wherever she was talking about? And I kind of felt like it was randomly placed, the humor there. It felt awkward and weird. But here they were like, no, we gotta take it seriously. This is serious stuff, so we gotta handle it well. And they did, and I really appreciate that. I thought it was really well handled. So, yeah, again, like, and even then, in the next episode afterwards, like, there wasn't a lot of humor in episode, like, there was a lot of humor in episodes 1 and 2 for the most part, because, of course, you have Steven, who's kind of the character that was, like, just wandering around thinking what's going on and everything. So there was a lot of humor there. Episode 3 was a bit, still had some humor, but, like, not as much. By episodes 4 through 6, it was pretty much, like, much more serious. Like, there were still jokes, like I said, but, like, it was very, like, much more serious and, like, kind of gritty and, like, serious a lot of stuff. Again, like, episode 4, it was like you're kind of Indiana Jones and National Treasure kind of, like, tomb reading kind of thing, or like in episode 5, the serious stuff there with, like, you know, the backstory, and episode 6 even had some jokes, but again, it was very, like, joke-less. It was very, like, just very serious, all the stuff they were just doing. They were just doing it seriously. So I thought that was all great. I thought that was all handled well. But yeah, I thought, yeah, Mark's whole backstory I thought was handled greatly. Like, again, even though they show after, you know, Layla's dad and all his men got killed, and, like, we don't know what happened to Bushman. But, like, yeah, Mark feels guilty about all that, and he almost was ready to kill himself before Khonshu, like, manipulate him to become his Moon Knight. So, again, all serious stuff they're dealing with, and I thought they handled it quite well. I gotta commend them on that. I thought that was great. So, yeah. And, you know, and the show wraps up, you know, it's, again, 6 episodes like most of the shows, and, you know, I feel like it wraps up pretty good for the most part. I mean, again, you could say, you could complain, I guess, about there being a giant CGI battle, because of course there was that with Amit and Khonshu, the big CGI creatures, but I don't really think that was, I didn't really mind it, because again, like, it was you know, it was kind of the background thing. You saw a few bits of it, but like it was mostly the background fight. The main fight was, of course, you know, Mark / Steven and Layla versus Harrow. So I thought that was all great. And, you know, and Layla becomes like her own superhero. She becomes, I think, I read an article saying she was the character called the Scarlet Scarab. Let me look it up quickly. I didn't look that up before doing this. Okay, that's not what I thought he looked like in the comics. So that the male character originally in the comics. So yeah, I think it's a lesser known character. But yeah, she becomes this hero where Tauret, you know, they need help to try and take down Amit, and of course, you know, she's now killed all the gods, or no, Harrow did. So now Layla decides to let Tauret, who's offering let her become her avatar for a little bit to help out and everything. And she finally decides to accept it and says only temporary, and she becomes, you know, Scarlet Scarab. And her costume was pretty cool. I liked how it looked, like the gold, the red and white, and also the bird wings she had, which was kind of funny. It was like it's a hippo god, but like, you know, she's like a bird kind of. Which I guess kind of funny when you think about it, because like the Khonshu's a bird basically, but like his avatar, like of course Mark becomes like the Moon Knight, has no bird themed stuff in it. So like, I don't know. I mean, I guess like, I don't know. There must be some kind of wiggle room to think about that. Like, well. Or maybe it has something to do with like the fact that she took the Scarlet Scarab, or that scarab off of Mark's body when he's died. So maybe combined with that somehow made the power. I'm not quite sure, but you know, it's clear though. She said it was temporary, but it's clear she'll say it's that because someone in the town just asked her, or a city asked her like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she was like, "Yes." So I was like, she'll definitely say it's that. And I'm definitely down with that. She was definitely very confident, was like ready, all in on that. Her costume gave me vibes of Hawkgirl from DC Comics, honestly. It's like the way it looked with like the color scheme a bit with the white and the gold and like the sleeveless arms a bit and the wings, like, you know, she looked like Hawkgirl. Like, it's kind of like what I kind of thought. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing that actress play Hawkgirl in a live action thing one time. That'd be kind of cool, actually. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. And you know, in that final fight also, just seeing Mark and Steven just like properly unified now. Like, Steven, of course, now learned that he had the ability to fight with him all along, and they just like jump back and forth between fighting as Mr. Knight and Moon Knight. I thought that was all great. That was all really cool. And what I was about to say now. I guess I'll say also, I didn't really think they were going to kill Steven off. That was definitely not on the cards, because the dual personality, split personality thing is such a big part of the Moon Knight character, so I feel like that would really anger fans if they just got rid of one of them like that. So that would, yeah, I didn't see that happening, but yeah. And the final fight was pretty cool. I mean, of course, there's a cut away from that because another personality takes over, which we'll get to that. But you know, I will say there was kind of a, I don't know, what was it? What's it about to say now? I will say there was kind of it almost kind of felt cheap a little bit, the final battle. Like, not meant so much that it looked cheap. I felt it looked good, but like, it kind of felt weird how it was like Arthur Harrow kind of just got taken out like that, because we saw him get taken out off screen. I thought he got killed at first off screen, and I'm like, that's kind of lame. Like, what the hell's with that? But like, no, he got defeated off screen, which like, and then they use his body as a prison for Amit and everything. Which, like, you know, I don't know. I kind of wish we saw an actual proper fight with like that. Probably defeats like Harrow, like see Mark and Steven properly unified and properly defeat him. So I thought that could be cool, but I guess it is what it is. So yeah, I don't know. And you know, of course, the episode ends, and there's of course the after credits scene finally in the show, which we get the reveal of Jake Lockley, the third personality, which a lot of us have been hinting at for a while because, you know, hair my tongue. There was, of course, in episode 3, Mark Black. Mark blacked out like twice, and like he asked Steven, "Did you do that?" And like, no, and it happened here again. And, like, keep finding hair on my tongue. And he asked Steven, he didn't do that, and it happened again in this episode. And there was also that shaking tomb in episode 4. And we all kind of figured out it was Jake Lockley, the third personality, who, and again, he also he has a different kind of accent and speaks a different language entirely to differentiate him from, you know, Mark and Steven. Apparently he speaks Spanish, is what I saw from Miss Sunny Movies review of it. So yeah, if it's not Spanish, I'll put it in the description right here, whatever it is. But I'm pretty sure it's Spanish. But yeah, so that was cool. I mean, I wasn't actually sure I thought they really were gonna put Jake in the final episode, because I'm like, they have to be, because I remember they said it was probably like a limited series, and I was like, okay, But like I was like, are they really gonna have time to properly bring out Jake? Because it was only like a 44-minute episode thing, so it's like it's shorter compared to the rest of the episodes mostly. So I don't know, but they didn't. They actually saved him for a setup for a season 2, which that's cool. And there's no confirmation of a season 2 yet, but there's definitely gonna be a season 2. Like, I mean, again, they said it was a limited series, but the way this ends, it's clear setup. I can't imagine them doing it like doing that in another. Like, can't imagine them continuing that whole thing with Jake in a Avengers film or a Midnight Suns or whatever, or in a Blade movie or whatever. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine doing that because like there has to be a season 2. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see where that goes. And they kill Arthur Harrow, so I kind of thought maybe he might actually live. So we can keep a villain around like that. Because I'd like to see Ethan Hawke again, but probably not going to happen. So, but yeah, it's so cool. And it also keeps with Khonshu as a character, because in the comics, from my understanding, Khonshu, you know, he sucks. He's a jerk. And like here, he says, "All right, Steve, Mark and Steven are like, free us as you promised after we were done this." They're like, "Okay, I'll free you." Frees them. I was like, "Yeah, but no, but I still got the other personalities. You're not free." And like, yeah, he admits like, "I'm never gonna let them go. It's give me, they're perfect." So it's like, I thought that was all great. You know, that's fun. So I'm curious to see what Jake's costume is. Because we know Mark has the Moon Knight suit, Steven has the Mr. Knight suit. What's his suit gonna be? Because I mean, in the final episode, no one mentioned that when they turned to Jake quickly. No one mentioned, like, Layla didn't say what was the costume you were just wearing then. Who was that? So I wonder what the costume it might be, because like it could be. I know there's like I feel like a Shadow Knight, this character. Like I think it was like his brother in the comics who didn't die became the Shadow Knight, I think it was. Or maybe they might even do Midnight Man, who's a villain of Moon Knight in the comics, who actually, that character appears in this show. The character of Anton Mogart, who was played by Gaspard Uliliol. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. So yeah, he was in one episode of the show. He was the actor that tragically died only like a few months before the show came out in a skiing accident, so that was sad. So yeah, I mean, he never became any kind of Midnight Man. It was more so like he was actually a guy who collected the antiquities of Egyptian related stuff. I'm not sure if they were gonna make him Midnight Man. It's hard to tell. I'm not even sure if he I'm not sure, I think he died in the episode also. Like, I don't know. They didn't quite make it clear, but like when he was running away on a horse, like Mark threw one of his knife or moon blades at him and it hit him in the back, and he kind of just fell backwards a little bit. So like, I'm not sure if they killed the character off or anything. Like, I'm not sure if they had plans for him going forward. So I don't know. Yeah, it was sad seeing that the character, that the actor died. So like, it was cool seeing this. Like, he got this last thing though. So yeah. Yeah, he wasn't the Midnight Man, so maybe they might make Jake Midnight Man, possibly. I'm not really sure, because I might want to keep more in theme of the moon. Because Midnight Man was a black costume. I'm not sure if that would, if Mark would get a black costume or anything, or if they want to keep in a light theme costume or anything. I don't know. Hard to say, but yeah. I guess I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but one thing I'll say with the show. Yeah, I think we'll get a season 2. I mean, I'm not saying anything yet. I assume in like the coming weeks we'll probably hear something about season 2. There was some speculation we might not get, and like I was hearing stuff again from Miscellaneous Movies. I like their channels. I watched their reviews. They were talking about how like the way Oscar Isaac quoted one time saying about him accepting this role made it sound like that maybe he doesn't have a proper contract with Marvel, and he was kind of skeptical about taking on a big franchise role again after Star Wars. But like he agreed to do it because he liked the character in the script. I don't know. I mean, I made it sound like that he maybe does. He might not have a proper script. I mean, Marvel scripts now, they don't have contracts. Like, their contracts are different nowadays. They said that they don't do like major picture deal contracts now. Like I said, like I know for Elizabeth Olsen, her contract's like every now and then they'll come to her like a 2-picture deal and have her sign that. Then she'll do that, and then she'll have to be like completely tied down to like multiple things. Like so. Yeah, they kind of dealt with that multi-film picture deal after Endgame, so yeah, so maybe he has that kind of contract. I'm not sure, but yeah, I feel like he's definitely coming back for season 2. It all leads to it. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do with season 2. Like maybe they might bring in Bushman as a character, or like as a villain, or someone else. I'm not really sure. I don't know the Moon Knight villains that well. Jake Lost will definitely be a big part of that season if they make it. So I think they will. I think they will definitely do it. I think I'll say the only problems or gripes I had with the show overall is that there are definitely times where the CGI didn't look great. And most of the time it looked good. Like with Khonshu and Amit and Taweret, yeah. They look pretty good. I didn't think they looked bad, you know. But just in episode 1, there's definitely some bad CGI and special effects, or visual effects, in that car chase sequence. It didn't look great. Like, I kind of said in my first review, but like, there was stuff how it looked like they speed up a little bit, and it looked kind of weird. But it also, there's also another scene in this final episode where, after Mark comes back and he puts on the Moon Knight costume where, you know, it was clearly CGI because it had to, like, form around him. And, like, other times it looked good, excuse me. Other times it looked good, that CGI, but forming around him like that. But, like, it was because they were in, like, you know, dark rooms and, like, there was kind of, like shaky lighting. Here it was like he was standing in a bright spot in that, like, tomb area, and, like, the CGI did not look great. It looked very fake, definitely there. Looked kind of odd, so I was like, didn't look great. And I guess, you know, one other thing I would say, I wish we did get a little bit more of, like, Mark and Steven actually in the Moon Knight and Mr. Knight costumes. It was kind of surprising we didn't get a lot of them in their costumes, but, you know, so I'm not really sure why, but still, it was so cool. Yeah. Overall, the show, I kind of rambled on a lot. There was, like, just kind of a lot of jumping around I did. Not sure. I think I covered everything, but, yeah. What else can I say before I end this off? I guess general quick other things, maybe quickly. Yeah, Layla and Mark, they might be back together again. I'm not really sure because she seemed pissed. She was pissed when she found that he might have had something to do with her father's death. He said he didn't, but that she seemed fine with him now after he came back to life. I'm not sure if they're still going to get divorced. Like, is she going to start dating Steven now? That'd be kind of weird because, like, Mark and Steven are much more unified and, like, properly live together, like, properly just coexist. So, who knows? Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm not really sure what they're going to do. You know, Layla's definitely going to stay as that, as her Scarlet Scarab character, so that'll be exciting to see. Another thing I also like about the show, also one thing, is like I said in my first review also, I'm pretty sure, but very limited like, connections to the MCU. I mean, it's in the MCU, there are references made to it, like in Steven's apartment, we see books about, you know, Asgard and Wakanda, you know, there's some busts that say, you know, the World United Foundation or something. It's that organization they showed off in Falcon Winter Soldier that helps, you know, displace people after the blip from when they came back 5 years later. And, like, also Tara mentions, like, the ancestral plane from Black Panther. So there are some references, but it's very limited, so I do like that. So it's kind of just letting it be its own thing. So, I mean, but of course it's all a joke. People say now in the MCU, are like, man, the people in the MCU must be so, like, I'm just fully, what's the word? I don't know. I'm just so, like, just taking, what's the goddamn word now? So immune now to all the weird shit. Because, like, there was, like, the sky was changing, and they've seen that happen so many times now. Like, there was giant, I'm not even sure they could see Amit and Khonshu battling in giant mode, I don't know. But, yeah, they could see all that kind of stuff, so it was crazy. They never really established also if the soul that Amit took back, if stole, like, killed, like, they revert back to their bodies. I'm not really sure. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of hoping they did, because, like, if they didn't revert back to their bodies, like, it's gonna be a lot of explaining to you, like, where's all these dead people now, so it's kind of weird. Okay, the one other thing I was gonna say before we end this off, because it's a long review already. One other thing, I guess, is there's kind of I'm not sure, it sounds hypocritical, but, like, I wonder how it's gonna work in the MCU, because there's a whole thing about Steven talks to Mark, how Mark killed all the people as Moon Knight, and, like, but at the end they don't want to kill Arthur Harrow, even though I'm pretty sure they still killed some people, like, not as Jake Lockley, but, like, Steven and Mark, like, Mark killed some people, like, threw some, like, moon knife blades into their, like, at them during that big fight at the end, so, like, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's hypocritical, because, like, all the other Marvel heroes, a lot of them have killed people before in the past, too, and, like, and it's, again, same thing, like, also in Hawkeye, because Hawkeye made it sound hypocritical a bit, because, like, it's whole, I don't know, it's weird, because, like, they talk about how you shouldn't be killing these people, but then, like, Kate definitely killed people in the Hawkeye show, like, when she exploded that van, or, like, those guys got taken away by that owl when they were shrunken down, or, like, even in Falcon Winter Soldier, there's a whole thing about how, you know, what was her name, Carly Morgenthau, they telling you shouldn't be, like, killing people, but Falcon killed people at the start of that show, so, like, I don't know, I saw someone else point out that in the Hawkeye show, though, that Hawkeye had, like, when you zoom in closely, you can see he has, like, practice arrows, like, special arrows that are not designed to hurt people, like, not designed to kill people, just, like mildly wound them, probably, so, I don't know, I think maybe the MCU's maybe starting to move away from the heroes killing, possibly, I don't really know, but, like, yeah, I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Tell me in the comments down below about, is it hypocritical that they're saying that Mark shouldn't kill the people, and then he doesn't kill them, even though a lot of the other heroes do, or they start to move away from that? I don't know. this review's getting long, so yeah. Yeah, overall my thoughts on the show, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really good, besides the problem of like the CGI and like we didn't see enough of them in their costumes. But still, I thought it was well written, well executed, well just interesting, some great characters. I can't wait to see more of them from the future. Some great performances. So yeah, I really dug it. I'm hopeful we get season 2. I think we absolutely will. I think it's just a matter of time before we hear the announcement. Like I don't know, maybe that's maybe at Comic-Con or something, or D23 will appear or something about it. I don't know. Because just let Oscar Isaac, he probably just want, let me do some other stuff before we go back to Moon Knight. So yeah. Yeah, that's my review of Moon Knight. Thank you all for watching. Tell me in the comment section down below, what did you all think of Moon Knight? So yeah, is it your favorite Marvel show? Is it your least favorite Marvel show? Let me know down below. So yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all later for what our next review I'll do. Like we'll see. Like again, I'm not doing weekly reviews of any shows. So if I decide to do any reviews again for a show, you'll see when they come up. But they won't be weekly reviews. So yeah. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye. Hey, if you liked that video, guess what? YouTube put out a video just for you on the left. Or, if you want to take my advice, watch the most recent video on the right. Thanks for watching.